Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nige here once again, and this is going to be another tier list. So, if you remember around Halloween season last year, we did a Halloween Candies tier list. But while there were plenty of candies on there were plenty of candies I forgot. And not only that, but I want to see if my opinions of the other candies that we ranked have changed at all. So, here we go with the Halloween Candy Tier List 2.0. Bigger, badder, and better. So we got tons of candies on here. Then we also have our tiers, and the tiers are the same as last time. We have Trick or Treat tier, which is really solid, really good candy. Really fantastic candy. Just all around delicious and stuff like that. A tier here is not quite top tier, but still really good, really solid. B tier is kind of the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but good or okay. C tier is almost at the bottom, one or two things keeping it out of the bottom, so it's very meh. And then stay in the store means don't buy it, don't put it in my trick or treat basket. It obviously I don't have a trick or treat basket anymore because I'm an adult and I just buy my own candy. But nevertheless, let's get right into it. So starting with Sour Patch. And a year ago I said Sour Patch Kids were still top tier, and a year later nothing has changed. I still love Sour Patch Kids. So Sour Patch Kids is still going to be our first trick or treat tier, and especially used to love how we would get either like the small pouches of Sour Patch Kids, or we would get the um, like big kids, like the big things of Sour Patch Kids. So that is going in Trick or Treat tier. But next up is Twix. Yes, this time around for this year, here I've decided I would split up the chocolates. It's now last year, if you remember, I kind of grouped the chocolates together. I decided not to do that this year because not all chocolates are made the same, but also, I didn't split the lollipops. We had several different types of lollipops, and I didn't split those, so I figured it'd only be fair. Starting with Twix, I really like Twix, and normally with how they made it fun size or like bite sized. Didn't want to do that. How they made it bite sized. Normally they would give you like a small quarter of the bar and then package it like that. And they didn't give you like the two, but of course all good. So the Twix, I do really like Twix, so I think I will put it in A. Yeah, this A. Hey, so I'll put in Twix. Put Twix in A, I should say. Next up is Snickers. Snickers are okay, not like my first choice when it comes to candy bars, or especially on Halloween. Like I have no problem with it. I forgot to include the peanut butter Snickers, but hers. I'll throw the peanut butter Snickers in there as well. I'll just rank them without image and stuff. So the Snickers itself, I think I'll put in B tier, and you know what? I think I'll put the peanut butter Snickers in B tier as well. All these candies, and I still forgot some. Go figure. But next up is Kit Kat. I do like Kit Kats. Kit Kats I think are pretty good, and what it would do for the fun size was is you get two small bars, but you get like two of them instead of like your traditional longer four bars that you would get in most packs. Instead, you got the two Kit Kats, but nothing to sneeze at, of course. So the Kit Kats, I think I'm gonna put in. I think I'll put in B. So pretty good for the most part. Next up, though, is going to be, let's see, the Three Musketeers. Admittedly, I know quite a few people don't like Three Musketeers. For me, it's okay, just definitely not like my first, choice. First choice, I should say. But Three Musketeers, though, I think it's okay for the most part. They did have like the I think this is the one where they had like the dark chocolate ones and stuff like that as well. But otherwise, Three Musketeers, I think I'll be generous. I think I'll put it in B. So Three Musketeers is gonna go in B. The next up is going to be Payday. Payday is it's okay for the most part. Or obviously, if you're allergic to peanuts, definitely stay away from this. But Payday with the peanuts and the caramel and everything, and a decent kind of crunch to it. But not necessarily the crunch that I would enjoy. Typically, the peanut butter and caramel tasted okay with each other, of course. But Payday, hey, again, definitely not like my first choice. These are like if they appear in my Halloween basket, I'm not going to totally turn against them. But yeah, so Payday is gonna go in B for me. Then next up is Mr. Goodbar. Or admittedly, haven't had a whole lot of like Mr. Goodbar ones, but Mr. Goodbar I think is okay. Pretty much just like the Hershey's, except with peanuts that's in it essentially. So Mr. Goodbar, I would think is okay, and the peanuts aren't like too bulky, if that makes any sense, or sticking out a lot more like with Payday or like with the Snickers where it's like kind of bulky, if that makes any sense. It's a bit more like flattened and ingrained, if you will, into the chocolate bar. So with that, Mr. Goodbar, I think I'm gonna put in B. Next up is going to be Mounds. I hate Mounds. Mostly because I hate coconut. So Mounds, guess what? You are going to stay in the store, or Mounds will stay in the store. Then next up is yep, here we go. Almond Joy. I also hate Almond Joy. Oh shoot, I mixed them up. So Almond Joy is the one with the coconut. Mounds is the one with the. Oh, they both have coconut. Oh, okay. So Almond Joy has coconut and almonds. And it's too bad I don't really like almonds. At least not like raw almonds. Like almond milk, I think is pretty good for the most part. Or nice little keep doing that. Nice little substitute for like regular milk in your cereal, especially like the vanilla one. But Almond Joy will also stay in the store. I hate Mounds and I hate Almond Joy because I hate almonds and I hate coconuts. So you will also stay in the store. Go join them. I thought about putting them together, but admittedly the Almond Joy does have the extra almond going with it. So if you like almonds, maybe not the biggest fan of coconut, then you kind of have something to look forward to. But since I hate both, they're both going to stay in the store. But next up is Milky Way. I think Milky Way is okay for the most part. I do like the caramel and the nougat, if I believe that is. Milky Way is okay. They did also have the dark chocolate ones. The dark chocolate ones actually weren't that bad, but yeah, Milky Way not like my first choice. I don't think I put regular Hershey's on here either. But Milky Way, I'm gonna put in B. Let me see. Did I put regular Hershey's on this list? No, I did not. So regular Hershey's are okay. So while they're here, I think regular Hershey's I'll stick in. If I can spell it. So regular Hershey's chocolates, I think I'll put in B as well. Then next up is going to be Reese's. I love Reese's. Reese's peanut butter cups. Now normally you would get the fun size one with the singular peanut butter cup, or sometimes you would get the specialty ones like that, the Reese's pumpkin, stuff like that. But otherwise, Reese's peanut butter cups I do really like. So you know what? This is a trick or treat tier for sure. I really like Reese's peanut butter cups. So And of course, or if you are allergic to peanuts or peanut butter, then obviously stay away from it. But otherwise, for me, it's pretty good. And remember, these are all my opinions, so if you disagree with any of these, that is totally fine. But next up is Milk Duds. I like Milk Duds. It's, the texture is almost a little too weird, so it's almost like a circular disc of disc in terms of like the candy, like the chocolate and caramel. But I think it works okay for the most part. I know a lot of people don't really like Milk Duds, but I did like the for the fun size for the Halloween candy. They did like have a little box, and then you would pour some out. They didn't really give you a whole lot, but yeah. So Milk Duds, I think I'll put in B. Yeah, consistency was a tad bit weird, but I did think they were okay. Then next up is Whoppers. I know a lot of people hate Whoppers. My dad loves Whoppers though. Me, I think Whoppers are just okay. The malt is the malt. I think the malt is like that malt. Like the malted center, obviously it's the malted center, then surrounded by the chocolate. I think this is what throws a lot of people off. But me, I think it's okay. So, with that being said, Whoppers, I think. I don't necessarily want to put in A tier, but I think it is going to go in B tier. And with Halloween candy, you only really got like 2 or 3 of them in like a little pouch. So, if you don't really like Whoppers, then skip out on it and stuff. But next up is going to be York peppermint patties. People are split, not just on York peppermint patties, but just like chocolate and mint in general. But me, I for the most part like the peppermint patties. It's got a nice cool sensation with some pretty decent chocolate, and I keep doing that. But every time I think of York peppermint patty, I also think of a commercial where there's like the lady or whoever it is bites into it, their eyes get all wide, and it's all like snow and stuff. So York peppermint patty, I think I will put in B. Then next up is going to be, let's see, is the Hershey's Kisses. Now, admittedly, Hershey's Kisses, this is more like a Christmas candy, I feel like. They didn't really appear that much in your, like, Halloween basket or bag or stuff like that. But they were still pretty good. And, of course, another commercial I think about commercials was, some iconic commercials, obviously, the very famous, like, Bell's commercials they do with the kisses that they literally do every year. But Hershey's Kisses, I think, are still okay. So the Hershey's Kisses will go in B. Next up is going to be Baby Ruth. I feel like Baby Ruth is okay. I feel like it's almost in like that territory of like a it almost kind of reminds me of like Snickers a little bit. But I still think it's okay for the most part. So Baby Ruth, I think I'll also put in B, similar to what we did with Snickers. It's gonna go in B there. And next up though is going to be let's see. So Baby Ruth. So next is Crunch. I do like Crunch. Crunch, of course, has crisped rice. Kind of like a Rice Krispie treat, coated in chocolate, which of course is a thing. But the way they disperse the like the Rice Krispie or like the crisped rice, I might interchange between the two. The way they like disperse it and like even it out kind of in the chocolate bar, I think makes it really good and pretty tasty. So Crunch, I think I will put in, and it wasn't even really that crunchy, at least not to me. But Crunch, I think I'll put in. Yeah, I'll put in B. Crunch, I think will go in B. Next up is going to be Butterfinger. So, not gonna lie, never really been the biggest fan of Butterfinger. Like, it does have chocolate and peanut butter, and like peanuts and stuff. It looks like, but it also has kind of a weird like buttery taste, which buttery taste can be hit or miss. And I think with Butterfinger, it did taste a little weird, so not really the biggest fan of it. So unfortunately, I think Butterfinger is going to be. I don't necessarily want to put it in stay in the store, but I think it is going to be our first C tier. Yeah, there we go. So Butterfinger is going to be our first C tier. Then next up is Candy Corn. Didn't like them then, definitely don't like them now. So Candy Corn, you already know where you're going. And I think last year I put them in C tier. I didn't want to put them in stay in the store, or because I was being generous. This year, you will get no mercy from me. You can officially stay in the store. And for some reason, I used to like Candy Corn, but not anymore. Definitely not anymore. Like, it tastes really weird and really waxy, and really and kind of weird. So Candy Corn, yeah, you're staying in the store. Next up is Lemon Heads, which I put the wrong logo for, because we are supposed to have Warheads on here. I'm trying to figure out where. So Warhead. Oh, actually. Oh, okay. I see what happened. So I just forgot the. So next up actually is Warheads, and then we'll move on to Lemon Heads. But Warheads, it's of course very sour, especially sour like all the flavors, like the cherry, the lemon, the black cherry, stuff like that, all really really sour. Like this face right here is the exact face you would make whenever you ate a Warhead. They were not joking around when they made that logo. Oh, so Warheads, but I can't really fault it for that. It set out for a job to do, and it did the job pretty well. So I think Warheads, I'll put it in B. Like, if you're not into sour stuff, then definitely not Warheads. Warheads are not for you. They do have the chewy Warheads, which are not sour at all. Like the excuse me, like the gummy Warheads and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise. If you're not into sour stuff, Warheads are not for you. But next up, Lemon Heads. So the OG Lemon Heads, the very hard Lemon Heads. But I still think they're pretty good for the most part. Or a little sour, but not too much. Definitely like a lemony flavor. So the Lemon Heads, I think they did have some like sour Lemon Heads, but otherwise the Lemon Heads, I think I'll put in B. Next up is going to be Dum Dums. I do really like Dum Dums. Small lollipops with different flavors, and all kinds of different flavors too. So Dum Dums, I think last time I put them in A or B. So this year I will put them in A. Dum Dums, you will join Twix in A tier, because Dum Dums, small but tasty. Next up is going to be Nerds. I really like Nerds. Little small candies, and they gave you like the little box and stuff with some Nerds in it, and apparently they have a chewy Nerds called Dweebs, which I haven't tried out, but nevertheless, Nerds. I think Nerds I will put in. I think Nerds I'll put in. I think Nerds will go in B. I will put Nerds in B. Next up is going to be next up is going to be quite a scroll here. Skittles. I do really like Skittles. And when they would give you the pouch on Halloween, they had a decent amount in there, or like a bunch. So Skittles, I think I will also put in A. If you like Skittles, then you'll like the little Skittles pouches. So it's gonna go in A. Then next up is going to be Starburst. I really like Starburst. Still hate the orange ones though, and it still sucks whenever you get a double orange, unless you like orange. But for me, the Starburst, like the red, yellow, pink, stuff like that, is still really good. They also have like the Starburst variations, like the Fey Reds or the Tropicals. So Starburst, I think I'll also put in A. Still very much top tier. Then next up is going to be Airheads. Really like Airheads, and especially like when you got the mini ones for Halloween, they gave you like a decent amount. I think last year I said it was a quarter, but honestly it was more like half of the bar. So Airheads, I think if I could stop doing that, Airheads I think will go in. Yeah, you know, I'll put them in Trick or Treats here. You're definitely gotta put them up there. So Airheads is going to go in Trick or Treats here. Then next up is going to be Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffys are pretty good, but having the little like jokes in the back. Is it me or do the jokes suck nowadays? They were a lot funnier when I was a kid. Maybe that's why, because I was a kid. But you know, they had the different Laffy Taffy flavors like the strawberry, the banana, the grapes, and the apples. And I don't care what any of you said, the banana ones are tasty. So Laffy Taffy, he is going to go in. Honestly, yeah, I'll put it in A tier. Or here, so A tier for the Laffy Taffies. Then next up is M&M's. I do like M&M's. M&M's are pretty good. Pretty much all the same flavors, just different colors. But yeah, they're still pretty tasty, I would say. And you got like a decent amount of little pouches they would give you. So M&M's, I think I will put in. You know what? I think I'll put in A. Yeah, something about it, I think I'll put in A. I don't remember where I put it last year. I think I put it in B last year, but I will put it in A. Then next up is the M&M's Peanuts. It's admittedly, and obviously, if you can tell by everything I've said, I'm not allergic to peanuts. In fact, I'm not really allergic to anything, at least food-wise. But so I do like them, but not quite as much as like the regular M&Ms. They are like nice and big and bulky, obviously because of the peanut inside. But yeah, so M&M's Peanuts is going to be a B tier. Next up is going to be Jawbuster. So Jawbusters definitely lived up to the name. If you tried to bite through them right away, it would hurt your teeth. So you suck on them for a little bit, you roll them around your mouth a little bit until it gets softer and smaller. But they were pretty tasty. With like the red, like the cherry, the lemon, I believe the yellow one was, the grape, apple, or it might have been lime, and the orange. Even the orange wasn't that bad, at least with Jawbusters. So, with that being said, Jawbusters will go into. I'll put them in B. Busters. There's Jawbusters. There we go. So it's gonna go in B. Then next up is going to be Chico Sticks. I still hate Chico Sticks. And I think it's mostly because of the coconut. I had to resolve why I had such a disdain for Chico Sticks, but then I remember it has coconut. I hate coconut. So Chico Sticks, guess what? You, my friend, are also going to stay in the store. So next up is going to be. Well, at least Chico Sticks aren't alone this year. I remember last year they were alone and staying in the store, but this year you got friends with you, Chico Sticks. Next up is Dots. Still really like Dots. Not as much as I used to, but I still think they're okay. So I think Dots are gonna go in B. And the thing is, with the Dots with the little boxes, they didn't really give you a whole lot, but I still like Dots. But next up is going to be. Tootsie Rolls, the regular Tootsie Rolls. I do like Tootsie Rolls. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. If you get that, then you know. But Tootsie Rolls, I think are still pretty good. So Tootsie Rolls, I think I will put in. You know what? I think I'll put them in A. I do really like Tootsie Rolls. However, the Tootsie Roll fruity versions are definitely superior. The orange, even the orange on this one isn't bad, and the cherry, and the lemon, and the vanilla, and the lime. Oh, I love fruity Tootsie Rolls. This one's definitely a trick or treat tier. I think I only put this one in A last year, but how sad of me. This is definitely a trick or treat tier. Love fruity Tootsie Rolls. Next up is going to be Tootsie Roll Pops. How many likes does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. But still pretty good with like different flavors and stuff, having that like Tootsie Roll center and the delicious outer ones, and having like flavors like grape and cherry and stuff like that. So Tootsie Roll Pops, I think I'll also put in A. I think I put these lower last year, but something about it, I'm feeling a little bit more generous and a little less generous on some. But the Tootsie Roll Pops, I think I'm going to put in A this year. But next up is the Double Bubbles, aka the gum that lasts all of 10 seconds. And so, because of that, the Double Bubble, you will go in. At least it's a tasty 10 seconds, I guess. But yeah, so Double Bubble, not necessarily stay in the store, but I think I am going to put it in C. Then next up, though, is going to be the Blow Pops. Still, in my opinion, the superior lollipop, at least around Halloween time. So Blow Pops, I put these in A last year. How dare I only put these in A? Blow Pops, I am so sorry. I will make it up to you, because this year you are going in trick or treat tier. Here is the Blow Pops. But next up is going to be the Smarties. I do like Smarties for the most part. They are very small though, and when they crumble to dust, us the kids sometimes smoke them in class as smoking Smarties. Although I could never figure out how to do that. And I think because I don't know if something wrong with my lungs or something wrong with my tongue, but I was never able to do that, and I was never able to blow a bubble with bubble gum. Or I'm not able to whistle. So I guess whatever it is, I'm guessing all of those are connected in some way. Not that I would really want to, because why the hell would I want to smoke Smarties? But the Smarties, I think I will put in. I think I'll put them in B again. But then next up is going to be. Swedish Fish. I do like Swedish Fish. It surprised me that not a lot of people like Swedish Fish, but Swedish Fish is still really good. They would sometimes give you like the small packs, or they would sometimes give you the big fish, which is a very big fish to fry. So Swedish Fish, you know what? I don't quite like them as much as Sour Patch, but I still really like them, so they are going to go in A tier this year. Then next up is going to be Twizzlers. Guess what? A year later, I still love Twizzlers, and I'm still not backing down. I love Twizzlers, and that is a hill I am willing to die on. Twizzlers is going to go in trick or treat tier. I don't care what any of you say. Hey, I love Twizzlers. There we go. Trick or treats here. Fight me about it. It messes me about it. Which you absolutely can't. But I will still tell you. I will shout it from the mountaintops. I love Twizzlers, man. And so that was where the initial list ended, aside from some differences. But now we get into the candies that didn't quite make the cut last year. And by didn't make the cut, I mean I kind of forgot to put them in the list. Starting with Tiger Pops. Tiger Pops were okay. I feel like compared to the other lollipops, didn't quite like them as much. But I think I think I do gotta put them in C. Like, they were okay, but definitely better lollipop options around Halloween time. But next up is the Krabby Patties. Last year, I cannot believe I forgot the Krabby Patties. He's not again. Did not do it again this year. This time they are included. Granted, this is like a Christmas edition. You can see with the Christmas hats. As in, man, it's crazy that SpongeBob has had both a Halloween episode and a Christmas special. But Krabby Patties, Then again, most shows have had a Halloween and Christmas. Hey, look. We're still gonna take the W because SpongeBob was awesome. So Krabby Patties are definitely trick or treats here. They're still really good. Like, the fact that you can eat like the pieces separately or eat them as a regular Krabby Patty. Just hopefully they weren't printed on paper or made out of garbage. And if you get the references to those, but next up is going to be, let's see, wax candy. Now, admittedly, didn't get these quite as often in my Halloween baskets, but they were still okay for the most part. You chew on them for a little bit. You're not allowed to. Well, I mean, you are allowed, but you're not supposed to actually like eat them, like swallow them. You're supposed to chew on them, essentially like gum. They did taste a little weird. They were edible, of course, but it was a little weird. And that kind of is a weird concept for candy. It's kind of wax. So unfortunately, I think these, not necessarily stay in the store, but I think I might have to put them in C. Kind of weird concept for candy, if I'm being honest. But next up is going to be, it's going to be the Smarties Lollipops. Admittedly, these I feel like are kind of might be the weakest in terms of like the Halloween lollipops. I still think they're like okay, for the most part, but not as good as the other stuff. So I think this one I'll also have to put in C. Not really the biggest fan of the Smarties Lollipops, especially because they were kind of hard to like chew, which you're not really supposed to chew it. You're supposed to like lick it until it goes down further. But yeah, kind of weird in terms of that. They did taste like Smarties. I'll give them that. But next up is going to be Jelly Bellies. Granted, didn't get these as often in my Halloween baskets, but I like Jelly Bellies, so I don't care. Jelly Bellies, I think I will not do that this time. Jelly Bellies, I will put Jelly Bellies in A. I do like Jelly Bellies for the most part, or and nice amount of like good fruity flavors and stuff like that. So Jelly Bellies is going to go in A, at least for me. Next up is going to be Sour Punch. Sour Punch is pretty good. Not really that sour, but kind of in similar veins like Airheads Extremes, which were supposed to be like sour but weren't really. But I still think they're pretty good. So I think I'll put Sour Punch. Now, don't like them quite as much as like Sour Patch, but Sour Punch I think is gonna go in B, at least for me. Then next up is going to be Chewy Lemon Heads. Admittedly, didn't see these as often, which is like the explicit reason why I kind of left them off my initial list last year, but I have seen them sometimes, and they do have the tropical versions, but the Fruity Lemon Heads, admittedly, are superior to the regular Lemon Heads, so on that merit, these will go in A for me. I do really like Chewy Lemon Heads. Next up is going to be, let's see, bottle caps. I do like bottle caps. Kind of reminds me of like almost like Smarties, but obviously bigger and with like different flavors like root beer, cherry, grape, cola, and orange. So bottle caps, I think, are pretty good, pretty decent for the most part. So with that being said, I think bottle caps I will put in B tier. Yeah. So bottle caps is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be Gobstoppers. I do like Gobstoppers. Kind of in a similar vein to like the Jaw Busters, but a lot smaller. But I do still really like Gobstoppers. So Gobstoppers, I think I will put in. I think I'll put them in B because I do like Gobstoppers. Next up, though, is going to be Sweet Tarts. I do like Sweet Tarts. They're a little too sweet at times, but Sweet Tarts, I think, are still pretty okay for the most part. So Sweet Tarts, I think I'll also, I think I'll also put them in B. And next up is going to be let's see. Yes. So next up is going to be runts. I do like runts. 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 Pretty much like little like candies, and I do like the extra step of like not only is the candy based off the taste, like the color kind of corresponds to the taste, but the candies are also shaped like the taste. So you got like the apples and the orange and the grapes and the strawberries and the bananas. So they would be shaped like a banana or like a grapevine or like an apple, stuff like that. I think that was a pretty nice touch. So runts, I think I will also put it in. Do I want to put it in B or A? Yeah, I think I'll put it in B. So I'll put it in B there. Then next up is going to be. Let's see. Next up is Sprees. Yeah, I do like Sprees. He's almost like a chewy, I guess, version of like Sweet Tarts, or it's kind of like similar flavors, but I do think they're still okay. So Sprees, I think, will also go in B. B Spree. So those Sprees will go in B, at least for me. It didn't mean to rhyme, but it did. Next up, though, is going to be Jolly Ranchers. How on earth did I forget Jolly Ranchers last year? Man, I am kicking myself thinking of that. Like, when I was reviewing like the list and everything and compiling the list, and I realized, I'm like, whoa, I didn't put Jolly Ranchers? Especially like now that you had the cylinder ones like these, like the common ones, but also the Jolly Rancher sticks. Wow, how could I forget Jolly Ranchers? I am so sorry, but Jolly Ranchers are delicious. It's very crunchy, and they do get stuck in your teeth from time to time. But yeah, these for me are definitely trick or treat. How dare I forget these last year? I can barely live with myself. My goodness. But next up is gummy bears slash worms. Sometimes it'd be Haribo, sometimes it'd be a different brand. But I do really like gummy bears and gummy worms. So I think these I'll also put in. I think I'll also put these in A tier. Still, really, really solid. Next up is. Scroll past it. Next up is. Let me see. Trolley. The trolley worms. So for Halloween, they would package like a singular worm, but it's alright because they were nice and big and they were sour. Some of them even had like the liquid or like the candy like gel in it. But trolleys, otherwise, I think I will put in. Sometimes it did taste a little weird, but otherwise, I think they were okay. So I'll put them in B. Next up is going to be. Let's see. Lifesavers, the fruity lifesavers. Sometimes you would get like mint lifesavers, but most of the time you got the fruity lifesavers. Sometimes you get the hard ones, and sometimes you get the chewy ones. But otherwise, I do really like lifesavers. Sometimes you even get like the big lifesavers, like the much bigger ones, which were also really good. And sometimes I think sometimes they were like sour, but otherwise lifesavers I do really like. So lifesavers, I will put in A. Then next up is going to be the ring pops. I do really like ring pops. They're pretty tasty. Plus, you get a nice little bit of jewelry. I think didn't someone once propose to their girlfriend with a ring pop one time? Not sure. Let me know if there's any credence to that. Statement. Let me know if there's any validity to that statement at all. But ring pops, I think I'll still put them in B. He sometimes the crunch was a little weird, at least for me. But yeah, so it's gonna go in B. But next up is going to be the Welch's fruit snacks. I think sometimes it would put like other fruit snacks, but the Welch's ones really good, still really good to get them in Halloween in your Halloween basket. So the Welch's, pretty tasty. So these are definitely gonna go in A. Yep. So it's gonna go in A for me. Next up is going to be candy cigarettes or candy sticks, because calling them candy cigarettes after a while suddenly became a no-no. But it's crazy that they would sell these on the shelves. In fact, I think they still do sell these on the shelves, but they would sell these on the shelves and hand these out to kids. And some of them even had like the cigarette boxes, like, you know, Camel or Marlboro. But yeah, but then they had to switch up to like superheroes like Spider-Man or like Iron Man or Wolverine or Batman or Superman. And even though Batman's technically not a superhero, but you get the idea. But otherwise, the taste, they did taste a little weird, a little chalky even, but it's still crazy. And so I think on that merit, I would put them in C. It's not because we're essentially handing out cigarettes to kids in a way, but just kind of the taste did taste a little bit weird, at least for me. Next up is Bazooka Bubblegum. Admittedly, Bazooka Bubblegum lasts a little bit longer than Double Bubble, but still doesn't last a long time. Definitely meant to only be chewed for maybe at max a minute or two. So unfortunately, they were a bit tastier than Double Bubbles though. Nah, you're still going to see. Sorry about it, but yeah, the Bazooka Bubblegum is still gonna go in C. Bazooka Bubblegum. But next up is the candy jewelry. Like the necklaces or like the bracelets and stuff like that. Admittedly, kind of weird looking back on it, because you'll be eating it and it's supposed to be eaten like off your wrists and stuff, but you might also accidentally drudge up some like hair if you have like little arm hairs and stuff. Admittedly, back in like elementary and middle school, we didn't have to worry about that just yet, but we still have like skin cells and stuff like that, which is kind of weird when you think about it. But otherwise, it was still okay for the most part. It did taste a little weird at times, but otherwise, yeah. So I think, I'll be generous. I'll put it in B. It would taste a little weird sometimes, but I think I'll put it in B. I think I'll be generous on this go round. Next up is the gummy body parts. These usually were like hit or miss. Like sometimes they would be pretty okay. Sometimes it would taste really weird. But different body parts like the eye, the foot, like like fingers or stuff like that, was also pretty weird in concept. Essentially eating like parts, or it's obviously, you know, supposed to be spooky and scary, but subtle kind of cannibalism. So I think these ones I'll put in B. Next up is going to be the Crybaby. Well, the other gums were gums for wusses. This is a real man's gumball here. But the Crybabies really were pretty sour. Not quite as sour on the level of like the Warheads, but still they did pack a punch. So the Crybabies, I think I'll put in. They were kind of tasty, but they were also pretty sour. So I think the Crybabies I'll put in. I think I'll leave the Crybabies in B. Next up is going to be Halloween Peeps. Need I say more? But last but certainly not least is going to be the mini toy. So these weren't things that you necessarily ate, but more so stuff you could use. Who's and other stuff, or just like little trinkets, little knickknacks. So stuff like the erasers here, or like I have pictured here, or like they would sometimes have like the little plastic spiders, or like the little plastic like bat rings, stuff like that. Admittedly, it just kind of a fun little thing, even though the erasers did kind of suck. But and these didn't last long, obviously, because they're pretty cheaply made and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think think these, eh, yeah, yeah, I think I might have to put these in C. Okay in concept, but otherwise, nothing too special. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this tier list. So to recap, in Trick or Treat tier, we have Sour Patch Kids, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Airheads, Fruity Tootsie Rolls, Blow Pops, Twizzlers, Krabby Patties, and Jolly Ranchers. In A tier, we have Twix, Dum Dums, Skittles, Starburst, Laffy Taffies, M&M's, Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Roll Pops, Swedish Fish, Jelly Bellies, Chewy Lemon Heads, Gummy Bears slash Worms, Fruity Lifesavers, and Welch's Fruit Snacks. In B tiers, we have Snickers, Snickers Peanut Butter, Kit Kat, Three Musketeers, Payday, Mr. Goodbar, Milky Way, Hershey's, Milk Duds, Whoppers, York Peppermint Patties, Kisses, Baby Ruths, Crunch, Watermelon, Warheads, I should say, Lemon Heads, Nerds, M&M's, Peanuts, Jawbusters, Dots, Smarties, Sour Punch, Bottle Caps, Gobstopper, Sweet Tarts, Runs, Sprees, Trolleys, Ring Pops, Candy Jewelry, Gummy Body Parts, and Crybabies. In CRT, we have Butterfinger, Double Bubble, Tiger Pops, Wax Candy, Smarties, Lollipops, Candy Cigarettes slash Sticks, Bazooka Bubblegum, and the Mini Toys. And stay in the store is Mounds, Almond Joys, Candy Corns, Chico Sticks, and Halloween Peeps. That's for all Peeps because Peeps are disgusting. But nevertheless, it's funny because my friend is my friend, one of my friends, she does like Peeps. So if you're watching this, unnamed friend, and sorry, Peeps still suck. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this list. And of course, like I mentioned, these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is totally fine. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. But let me know in the comments what's your favorite Halloween candy. But if you did enjoy this video, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. And I will see you guys later. Peace.